What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. It's your girl Shelly Nicole with the Remedy Podcast. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody had a great weekend. Well, not really happy 4th, but I hope your 4th of July weekend was however you wanted to spend it. I'm gonna just say that I worked, so that was perfectly fine. I'm not really looking to celebrate the state of what the country is in right now, I will say. Just basically of what everything that has been going on, the bill that he passed on the actual day. And just how life has been, ever since Mr. Donald Trump has entered into the office. So I just didn't feel very patriotic this 4th of July. But I worked, I did overtime, and then I came home and chilled out. I was tired, I was exhausted, my feet hurt. So I relaxed. But nonetheless, if you did go out and if you enjoyed yourself, I love that for you. Hope you had a good time. This episode is an episode that was actually brought to my attention yet again. That a lot of these episodes that I come up with, or that I fester about, I guess, come up with people actually bringing this to my attention, and we have conversations about it. I'm like, yeah, that's a great topic for a podcast, and I'm just like, podcast episode, and I'm just like, okay, now I gotta speak on it, because I feel the same way, and I have felt that way before when it comes to certain conversations or certain topics that people have asked. And this one, I feel like, is one that I think everybody can relate to. I feel like everyone at some point in their life, whether it's now or beforehand, has felt that they have given more of their energy to a group of people, possibly just to one person, to your family, to your job, to whatever it may have been, right? Giving this energy of care, want, need, love, acceptance, and the same type of energy, same type of love and understanding and care is not being reciprocated back to you. So the topic for this episode is: don't pour from an empty cup. Pour into who pours into you. And I feel like this episode is definitely one that needs all types of attention, because I feel like a lot of us today are realizing that we possibly are giving too much energy to people who just don't deserve it. And again, it doesn't mean that it has to be, bad energy. It doesn't, and when I say bad energy, I mean, like, there doesn't have to be a falling out. It doesn't have to be confrontation as to why you no longer speak to someone. It could just simply be that life is just going in two different directions for you and another person, and it's okay that it's like that. She doesn't have to be a bitch. He doesn't have to be a broke ass. It doesn't have to be all of these other things that we like to say when people, just go their own route in life. When life just takes them on a whole different, hiatus, and a whole different roller coaster to go, a whole different adventure, honestly. It doesn't necessarily have to be a bad experience or a bad reason. But just realizing that sometimes you're giving your energy to people and to things and to places that it does not need or shouldn't have your full attention. Whether that's really, and it could be friendships, it could be romantic relationships, with all the way to family. We're going to dive into the importance of pouring into those who genuinely pour into you. It's time to set boundaries. It's time to reevaluate who's at your table, and it's time to prioritize mutual love and support from everybody who you are aligning with, or who aligns with you. And again, if they don't, it's okay. There doesn't have to be a fight. It doesn't have to be a brawl. It could just be, you know what, I'm gonna pull back. I'm gonna just step back out of this one because I clearly see there's something that's there or that's not there. And if you guys choose to have the conversation and speak about it, that's great. But if not, that's okay as well. So at first I would assume that everyone has heard of the phrase, pour into who pours into you. But for those of you who haven't, it's okay. We listen and we don't judge. When we come up with that phrase, or if you ever heard that phrase, to me, it's as if you have two cups, right? And they could be half full. They don't have to be full, but they could be half full, quarter full, whatever. There will always be cup A, which can be you, who has, let's just say, a great spirit. As far as you're always positive, you're always thinking the best, you're always thinking, optimistic and believing in a higher power and the whole bit. Like, that's just you. And then you have cup B, who could be your friends, your family, a family member. Doesn't have to be a whole group. It could be a family member, one friend, or your relationship, your boyfriend or your girlfriend. And let's just say they have the motivation as far as like getting shit done. Like, they can push you to get whatever it is you need to get done. And you need that because, if you don't, you'll fall off, right? Let's just say that's the two scenarios in this situation. You're cup A and you're feeding into their positivity. They're constantly feeling like, oh my God, but what if this doesn't happen? Well, what if that doesn't happen? Like, I know I'm putting in all this work, because remember, their whole being is about being motivational and doing the work and getting shit done. But a lot of times they lack that positivity that you bring. So you're constantly telling them that. You're constantly pouring into them. You're constantly saying, things will happen when it's supposed to happen. You're doing your part, let God do his. You're constantly, sending them memes or sending them messages, sending them scriptures. You're sending them whatever it may be to keep them going. Because they're going, but they feel tired. They feel like they're not going to get anything in return, and this is just how life is, so they're just going to keep moving. You're constantly pouring into that. That's one of your traits. The second trait that you possibly have is financial. Maybe financially you are well off. Maybe financially you know how to take care of your money. You may not be rich. You may be average, like majority of us. And, you may be living paycheck to paycheck. You may have 2 jobs, whatever the case may be. But you are financially stable. You're financially set. And this person isn't always that good with money. One moment they're up, the next moment they're down. And when they're down bad. Like, they're down in the pits of hell bad. And they always ask for help here and there. So that's another thing that you benefit or you get from them, that you pour into them. Like, okay, hey, here's $10 if you need some money. Here's $15 if you need some money. Here's, here's just a few bucks when, if ever you need me for anything, I'm here to give you. And here you are again pouring into their cup. So now your cup is, I said, we're at like a half. So like we're at a quarter right now, right? And theirs is at like 3/4 right now, because you're giving and giving and giving and giving. But when you need that motivation, when you may have, maybe not necessarily the financial part because you're financially stable. Let's say their other part is being motivational and eating healthy. I don't know. I'm just coming up with shit. Eating healthy. Finding ways to eat healthy. That way you have a better nutrition because your nutrition isn't that great. They're not giving you anything back in return. They're not being positive. They're not giving you the same energy that you're giving them. They're not giving that back to you. They're not giving you that positivity. They're not helping you motivate you into becoming the person that you need to be. It's always gimme. I need. And nothing ever comes back to you. You don't speak on it. You may not address it, but just naturally, from someone who loves you, from someone who's your family, from someone who's your friend, from someone who cares about you, quote unquote, cares about you. It's always they feel down or they don't have, or what's next for me. And even though you're feeling the same way, you still make sure you're uplifting that person, but you're never getting it back in return. That's what we mean when we say pour into who pours into you. I don't know why that made me tongue twisted me for a second, but that's basically what it is. And when we're saying that, it's like we're exploring the whole aspect. We're exploring every type of feeling: emotional, spiritual, mentally, physically. All that energy is exchanged in relationships. It's not necessarily just one particular thing, not one particular attribute. You know, you could be great at, I want to say, like, being the spiritual friend. You know what I mean? Like, that maybe is something that you're better at, and you're fine with not, you know, receiving that in return. But sometimes emotionally you need someone to hear you and to tell you everything is going to be okay, and you don't get that in return. Like, you just don't get that at all. Whereas you're always constantly saying, hey, everything's fine, everything's going to be all right, you know, just think positive and X, Y, and Z. And then when you're down and they see you're down, it's like, okay, what's wrong with you? Oh yeah? Oh, okay, you'll be all right. Like, how is that beneficial to me for you to say, oh, well, you'll be all right? Well, I know I'll be all right, but the whole point is, you as my friend, you as my lover, you as my family member, for you to see and hear me venting, you would understand that, hey, sometimes I need a boost too. Sometimes I need someone to tell me that I'm okay. Not just me having to tell you and then I don't get it in return. But I also want people to understand there's a difference between healthy reciprocity and reciprocity. I so botched that word. Versus keeping score. You shouldn't be keeping score when you're in any type of relationship, any type of friendship, relationship, familyship. There is no such thing as keeping score if that is somebody who you care about. It's like if, okay, so 6 months have gone by and you sit here and tell someone, well, I called you 50 times for the last 6 months. I've tried to come up with times for us to hang out, but like at least 15 times. I try to, like you have numbers behind everything. Like, you're literally keeping track of how many times you did this and how many times you did that, versus just, this is my person, this is who I care about, this is my friend, this is my sis, this is my bro, this is somebody who I really, you know, genuinely care about their well-being. Let me just check up on them. And getting that in return. Not necessarily saying that you, again, need to keep score of who's doing what and how many times they did it. Some people, and this I guess goes into also the love languages. Like, some people have love languages that are different than others. And that doesn't necessarily have to be romantically. You can use love languages in friendships. Like, if my love language is giving gifts, then my other friend's love language is probably acts of service. You know what I mean? Like, if I need something done, or if I like, that's her way of giving, of showing her love to me. Words of affirmations, sending me messages, or it's like scriptures, or just memes that encourage me to keep going. That's her way of showing me love. Everyone's version of how they show up is not going to be your version. It's not going to be the way you want it to be. Some people are gift givers, and that's okay. That's how they show that they love you. On top of them calling and texting you. I honestly don't, no one can ever sit here and tell me, I don't care who you are, that a phone call, a text message, or a voice note cannot be exchanged on top of the love language that you give. I don't ever want to hear anybody tell me that, oh, that's, you know, that's just not my love language. I'll send you a GIF, or I'll, you know, possibly send you a meme or here and there, but I won't call you, or I won't text you. A text message takes 5 seconds, if that. A phone call, if they don't answer, okay, fine, no problem. Some people aren't, you know, don't talk a lot on the phone. I'm really that type of person. I rather, a text message, I will pick up a FaceTime. Especially if I haven't seen you in a while, I'll pick up a FaceTime. But a phone call, like, I'm terrible at picking up phone calls. I really am. My own mom will tell you, like, bro, why don't you ever answer your phone? My dad, too. Well, no, I pick up for my dad. Sorry, Mom. But I pick up for both of them, honestly. But even, like, my brother, like, me and my brother, we text each other a lot. Me and my cousins, we text each other. It's never really a FaceTime thing. I text my aunts. I'm a big texter. I will always text to see how my people are doing. I'm not really big on the phone calls, which I always said I was going to, start doing more often of. But again, that's my way of checking in. And if sometimes we can get together, we have to look at our calendars to figure out, okay, when's our next cousin date? When, me and my friends can hang out, because all of our schedules are all over the place. Whatever the case may be, right? As long as it's coming from each person and we're all keeping I want to say, like, the wheel going, like the affection wheel, if you want to call it that. We can call it an affection wheel. The pouring wheel, if you want to call it that too. The wheel that just pours into everybody. If it keeps spinning and everyone's giving and giving and giving to each other and receiving and receiving and receiving, then we're good. We're straight. Everything is fine. But the moment that stops, it can get very tricky. So, how do you recognize one-sided relationships? The signs are always, if not almost always, there. Okay, so yes, I know you're probably like, okay, so Michelle, what are the signs? Because I need to figure this out. Okay, so some of the signs I kind of thought about, because again, I'm saying all this out of my own, and like I've always said, a lot of my episodes are just based off my own experiences and what I've noticed and what I've seen growing up from, like, my teenage years all the way up till now. So some of the common ways that you can, or the common signs of a one-sided relationship. The first thing is, like, you initiate everything. Like I said before, you're always the one calling, texting, making plans, or checking in. If you don't reach out, there's silence. If you feel like, if you notice, not even feel, but if you notice that, and I guess you could start to do this if you haven't thought about it, or you've just started thinking about it, you can kind of do the trial error now, like a trial run now, I would say, not trial ever, a trial run now. If there's one person or a group of people who you like or who you fuck with, or like who's your real main people, if you hit them up, let's say you hit them up today, it's Monday, you hit them up today, let's see how long it takes for them to answer you. You guys talk, you guys, hit each other up, yada yada, you have a conversation, cool. Conversation's done, probably ends, today or tonight, or tomorrow, whenever you choose to do it, and then see how long from the last time you've talked, meaning today or tomorrow, to the next time you hear from them. See how long it is. And again, this is not to sit here and say that life isn't lifing for everyone and everyone's not going through everything. We're all going through something, sweetheart. Everybody's going through it. But again, a text message, a phone call, a checking in, a hey, what are you doing this day, although it is 3 months away, but hey, what are you doing this day? Let's meet up for lunch, for brunch, for dinner, for drinks, for a walk in the park, for ice cream, whatever the fuck. See how long it takes this person or people to hit you up to see if you're okay, or to make plans with you, or just to simply just check in. And this isn't just a one area. I'm not just talking about, relationships as far as you and your spouse. I'm talking about, well, shit, that shouldn't be like that anyway. If you have a relationship, you're not in a relationship if if that is happening. You're single as hell. But if friendships, relationships, family ships, whatever it is, see how long it takes for that person to initiate a conversation with you, and then you'll know that you're the only one that's keeping, not tabs, but you're pouring in and you're trying to keep a relationship going. The other part is that they don't show up for you. They're unavailable or dismissive when you need support. whether that's emotionally, physically, mentally, but expect you to be there for them all the time. Like, no matter what you're going through in your life, you need to be there for them. I remember my childhood friend, Haley, her brother tragically passed away years ago. I forgot how many years ago. I want to say it was almost 10 years ago now that he tragically passed away. And no, it can't be 10 years. I wasn't that young. I want to say maybe 6 years now, possibly, where he passed away. And me and her, we didn't have no arguments, no bad blood, no nothing like that. But we just went our separate ways. We went to different high schools because we knew each other since we was in pre-K. Like, my mother, her mother, our family members always hung out with each other. We knew each other since pre-K. And it wasn't until after, I think, elementary school where we went our separate ways. We kind of still stayed in contact with each other. We went to each other's Sweet 16s. We did stuff like that. But then a little towards the end of high school, or probably the beginning of college, is when we all, and when I say all, it was me, her, and Sherelle. We all kind of drifted off. And again, it wasn't, no, and to this day, there is no bad blood. If we see each other, it's a, hey, how you doing? How's everything? Yada, yada. We always catch up. But I remember she called my phone. And I hadn't spoken to this girl in a while, a very long time. She liked my post on Instagram. I like hers. Again, we keep it really casual, I guess, if you want to say that, on social media. But I haven't spoken to her in so long. This girl called my phone, crying, hysterically. And all she said, I remember I was at my house, my childhood home in the Bronx. I was sitting on the stoop, and my mom was inside in the living room. And all she kept saying, he's gone, Michelle, he's gone. I said, who is gone? Who are you talking about? What happened? She was trying to get the words out, but she couldn't. I said, Haley, I need you to breathe. What happened? I run into the house. My mom's looking at me. I'm like, Haley, what happened? She's like, Matthew is gone. And that was her little brother. I called him Usher. He always reminded me of Usher. He hated that, but she's like, he's gone. I said, what are you talking about? She said, he's dead. He's dead. So I remember she still lived in Yonkers. I don't know if they still live in that house now. Well, she's married now, but I don't know if her family still lives in that house that's in Yonkers. But I had went over there a few times, again, in college, having, parties and stuff like that. So I got off, I said, I'll be there in 5 minutes. She's like, okay. And she's like, still crying. And I'm just like, I need you to breathe. Calm down. I ran into my room. I said, Mom, well, my mom was right there in the living room. She was like, what happened? I said, Haley said Matthew's dead. My mom starts screaming, what are you talking about? He's dead. Wait, no, what? So she gets dressed. I get dressed. The car is right in the driveway. We pull that car out. We booked it to Yonkers. And we were there with her, I want to say, almost the entire day. Even up until it was time for us to bury him. And even a little bit after that. 1 year anniversary, the 2 year anniversary, we kept showing up and calling and how are you and what's going on, and they were doing the same thing. I say all that to say this. Me and her, like I said, haven't spoken in so long, and again, there is no bad blood. There's always love with that girl, but and her family. But the fact that I was able to show up, and I know she would have shown up for me had it had been the other way around. If I would have just called her and said the same thing that she said to me. When you have people in your circle or in your life who you feel like when they call you, you're there, you're running to them. What do you need? How can I be of help? And the moment you feel like or the moment you have to, not even feel like, but the moment you have to call on them to be there for you, no matter what it is, doesn't have to be something tragic, but no matter what it is, and they choose to be dismissive, if they can physically be there, or just even be there to be on the phone with you, to call you, if they can't physically be there, that speaks volumes about a person, and that speaks volumes about how much you care to them. If they can't show up for you the same way that you show up for them. I feel like this is a very big one, that you're afraid to speak up. You're afraid to speak up. You walk on eggshells or fear being seen as needy or too much. Honest conversations about the relationship are avoided or poorly received. I'm going to say this very quick, simple, easy, to the point. If at this big age, I cannot come to you and tell you what's wrong with you, something that you are doing that bothers me, to make me feel away, I don't care who you are. And I can say it very respectfully. I don't have to be a bitch. I don't have to have an attitude. I don't have to be mean. I don't have to do none of that. But if I can't tell you what is wrong with what you're doing or how I feel about something, then what are we friends for? Why are we in a relationship? Don't expect me to come to you as a family member ever again whenever I'm going through something, because I clearly feel like if I do, it'll be a confrontation. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be an argument. I should be able, and not even just at this big age, but just with the maturity that it takes for someone to understand that, hey, I'm wrong. Like, okay, hold on. Maybe I'm looking at this in a completely different way. Let me hear what this person is saying, because obviously it's their truth. It's not mine, but it's their truth. And they're seeing me in a way that I may not notice, that's affecting my relationships, not only with them, but probably with other people who just are afraid to say it to me. If you can't speak up and if you can't say what's the problem and you're afraid to say anything to someone, that's a boundary that doesn't need to be. That's a boundary that shouldn't even be like thought about or played with. Like, I should be able to come to you, like I said, about anything that's bothering me without you catching a fit. And not to make this whole thing about this, but that was just three of the things that I thought about. Well, three of the many things that I thought about. Like, also, if you feel drained and not fulfilled, interactions feel more like a task than a joy. That could be very annoying. Like, you often feel anxious, unsure, emotionally tired after talking to them. Who wants to feel that way? Like, your needs are ignored. Like, your opinions, your feelings, or your boundaries are often dismissed or minimized most of the time. You justify their behavior. You consistently make excuses for their lack of effort. Like, oh, they're tired, or they're working too much, or maybe I'm just asking for too much. No, you're not. Like, it's like you rationalize, like, the imbalance of why they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing as whoever they are in your life. You often don't feel chosen. You don't feel like a priority. You often feel like a backup. Like, okay, well, if it didn't work out, or if I can't go with these two, well, then hell, I'll go with you. It's okay. They'll, fine. Then let's go. Like, feeling as if, like, you're not that important. If it feels like you're chasing love, you're waiting for them to treat you the way that you treat them, which is one of, like, the worst things I think that anybody could do. And again, I'm not judging, because shit, I've done it. You believe if you try harder that the person will finally match your energy. And honey, I'm telling you, they're not. They won't. Because they don't see it the same way you see it. Your heart is not the same as theirs, and they know it. There's so much more I could talk about, but I clearly don't want this to be a super long episode. But then, after all of that, like after giving all of this time and energy to people and to places and to environments that really don't serve you, how do you heal and rebuild after being emotionally drained, right? So restoring your energy and your spirit after you've burned out, the best way, I think, and especially for me, I tend to put my phone on D&D, and I love going by the water. I seriously love being by the water. I don't think I ever really paid attention to it until like a few years ago, where it actually gave me peace to either listen to music, write, talk to God, whatever it is, people watch. Like, it can honestly be anything. And I'm sitting there like with a snack or just something, a drink, whatever, and I'm just by myself, by the water, with the breeze, possibly the traffic, because it's New York City. You already know how that goes. And just I'm calm. I can restore all of that. Like, once I leave the water, and somebody told me it's because I'm a water sign, so that's probably why I love being by the water, and we're generated by the moon and the whole shebang, right? But that's how I restore my energy and I get my spirit back up. And not even just that, but also going to the gym. I'm telling you, if you don't go to the gym, and I'm not going to sit here and make it seem like I'm a super gym head, because I'm not. I haven't been a super gym head since I was like 27, 28, where I was like super, super in shape. But as I'm getting back into my groove of going back to the gym, even that has helped me restore myself all over again, to get my energy back and to feel like Michelle again. Which you need to do, whatever it is that brings you back to just being yourself. One of my friends, he has a bike, he has a motorcycle, and he told me that that's one way that he gets back into being himself after just dealing with life. You know, he has a business, he has a family, he has things that he does on the side, outside of working. And sometimes he feels burned out, and there's often times where he just doesn't want to talk to anyone, and he will put his phone on D&D, and he'll just drive. Not drive, but he'll just ride around, and it cleanses and clears his mind. Although you do have to focus a lot when you're on a motorcycle. But nonetheless, the ride itself, just being able to dip in and out of traffic, I believe. And just to have that feeling of just going and just not having to stop. And just driving and just being in your own little shell, I guess. Not really, but you know what I mean. It helps him to just get himself back to where he can focus and where he can center himself. Know the ways to pour into yourself when you've been giving way too much. And like that, again, goes back to just doing whatever it is that makes you feel like you again. And if you don't know what it is, try something. Some people, I honestly believe that a lot of people don't know what brings them happiness solely. I mean, not a relationship, not your friends, not none of that, which is also good. I'm not saying that that's not good, but just by yourself. What is it that creates and makes you and brings you back to yourself? And if, again, you don't know, figure it out. Find something to do. Go to the movies by yourself. See if that brings you peace. Take up a pottery class. Go to that, what's that thing called, where you go into the room and you smash it? Go do that. Maybe it's going for a hike. Maybe it's taking a long drive. Anything that can just bring you back to yourself. And get off your phone. Get off social media. Give it a break. The moment you give that a break, the moment you put that to the side, it's easier for you to then say, you know what? This is what it is that makes me me. And if you can afford it, go on a trip. Take a weekend trip somewhere that you wanted to go, somewhere that's piquing your interest. If you could do longer, do longer. And if it's just you could do a solo trip, or take one person with you, a family member, boyfriend or girlfriend, a friend, and just go away for the week or the weekend to just reset yourself. Because I do feel like everyone needs to have a getaway moment. I understand everybody like everyone likes to work. I don't know. I get tongue twisted so badly. Everyone likes to work and everyone likes to get that money, and I'm all for it. But I often do feel like, especially because we are in such a busy city, you do have to break away from the constant daily routine of your life. And you do need to get on a plane and go somewhere, or get on a train and go somewhere, or drive somewhere. And just take a vacation to let your mind go. Or spa treatment. Spa treatments are good too. Don't sleep on those spas. Spas are just as good as, well, no, going away is better than spas. But you get what I'm saying though. I think for me, a lot of reflecting happened just recently as to how much energy I was giving to certain relationships, certain people, to family members, that I wasn't receiving back. And I had to tell myself, you know what? You did the best you could. You tried to keep it together. You tried to hold on. But it's like hanging off a cliff, holding on to a rope with your bare hands, and it's a 500-pound weight on the other side, and you're trying to hold on to it. You're going to burn your arm, you're going to take your skin off, and you're going to be in pain. You have to drop the weight. And when you realize you have to drop the weight and you just walk away from it, knowing that you did what you could do, knowing that you tried to extend an olive branch, you tried to, let's regain our relationship, regain our friendship, regain our familyship, whatever. Knowing that you did what you could do, you probably took in your own, and that's the first thing too. You have to take responsibility for your own part. If there was a part that you played in it, you have to take your responsibility for yourself, which I did. I took responsibility, and not in all situations. There's some situations where I said, you know what, I could have came and done this, or you know what, I could have, I think physically, I could have came to certain things more, physically being there. But to also understand that while I may have not been physically been able to be there, a phone call, a text message, a hey, how you doing, what's going on, I was always there to answer whenever you wanted to chit chat, whenever you wanted to talk. And then physically being there could have been more frequent than what it wasn't. So I was always able to say that, and I was always able to say, you know what, that is true. And then putting that into play now. But even now, putting it into play, if it doesn't feel like I'm being allowed in, if the door isn't open, I'm not going to shove the door open. You get what I'm saying? I'm not going to keep trying to create plans, to make things happen, to, hey, let's do this, hey, let's do that, or what are you doing this time? If I feel like I'm the only one doing it, I'm now going to pull back. And for some people, they will say, well, that's not fair because when they were doing it, you didn't show up. How are you going to do the same thing right back to them? But again, if we're talking about growth, if we're talking about understanding, if we're talking about replaying those scenarios and those situations back, then we can have an understanding as to why I didn't, or as to why you didn't, and then move forward from here. But again, if I feel like I'm the only one trying to keep this door open, or I'm the only one trying to force it open, and you're just standing there looking at me like, okay, well, possibly, maybe, I don't know, or I'm not getting anything in return, I'm eventually going to stop. And then the chips will fall where they lie. Or lie where they fall. Yeah, there you go. And again, it's okay. I'm not mad. I had this conversation with my mom too, especially when it came to family. Like, understanding it is what it is. There is no hate, there is no love lost. It's just, this is where I am. This is what I've tried to do. And this is where we are now. And the ball is no longer in my court. Because I've been trying to bounce that ball over the fence, and it keeps being it's like I'm hitting a invisible wall and it's not going over. So I think for myself, especially, like I said, I was, reflecting on it and thinking about it, that I'm no longer putting energy into people, places, things, friendships, relationships, family ships that no longer want the same thing in return. Especially if we had the conversation. If we've had the conversation and we talked about it, if I feel like I'm not getting that back, it's okay. There's no love lost. Especially like on any type of occasion. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to beef with anyone. I'm not here to get into it with anyone. I'm just here to make peace with what was and move on with what's to come. And I feel like everybody should do that. I feel like everybody should just move on. If you truly are willing to continue in the relationship that you will have with someone, you will do that. You'll just say, you know what, it is what it is back then. Let's move forward and let's, we're in a new space in our life. So I say all of that to say this. It's not selfish to prioritize your peace. You deserve what you give. Speak life into yourself and seek connections that pour back into your cup. Whoever is for you is for you. Whoever wants to be in your life will be in your life. Whoever feels that you're important will make sure that you are some type of a priority to them. And again, your love language may not be their love language, and that's okay. But as long as it's something that's being generated, some type of emotion that's being generated amongst the both of you or the group of you, it doesn't have to be just one and one, then the relationship is still flourishing. Understand that you guys are older. You guys are now in a different space. Your priorities may be different from their priorities, and that's okay. But again, communication and speaking and being able to elaborate where you feel like, hey, I don't see you often. Hey, I need you to do this for me. Hey, I need you to do that for me. Hey, I need you to show up like this for me. It's okay to say that. And if at any given reason or for any given reason that it's not happening, just be okay with letting it go. It doesn't have to be any beef. You don't have to hate them. You don't have to wish them ill will. You don't have to be a bitch. You don't have to sit here and, oh, well, she think or he think. Hello, please grow up. Life just moved differently for you as it moved differently for them. And you go about your business and you go about life. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope this helps somebody when it comes to prioritizing yourself and pouring into your own cup and allowing those who want to pour into you, allowing them to, and you doing the same right back. And letting go of what isn't, letting go of the heavy weight. You guys, I'm going back to doing the live on Thursdays. I did one last week. Was it last week? Yeah, I think I did one last week. It's going to be on TikTok. I think I'm going to do both. TikTok, Instagram. But mostly on TikTok because I don't have to deal with the music issues when it comes to Instagram and this and that. So tune into my TikTok. It's the same as the Instagram, the Remedy Podcast. Or the Remedy_podcast. And on Thursdays at 6 o'clock, we'll be doing the lives. And we'll be talking about the same things over like how we did on Instagram. So I love you guys for listening. I hope you guys have a great week. Whatever happened into today, leave that shit into today. Don't bring it into tomorrow.
Soundstripe.